I'm really a newbie at this, so both of you will, you know, throw in your advice and expertise. I've got a bunch of questions about doing something like this. I assume that, you know, we're going to do this, produce this ourselves. So I've got, you know, things like, do we need a script for this? Do we need equipment? I mean, do we use our cell phones? I have a camera, you know, a real camera, and I take pretty good pictures and I do pretty good video. And then who's going to edit it? And how do we edit it? What is it to cover? How long is it going to be? I have those kinds of questions.
Okay, Sandy, let me just answer one thing, just kind of interject. Have you happened to have seen what Mike Callahan has done with his nature walks?
No.
It's really good. He posts them on Facebook.
Okay.
Kate, this is a member of the board, and he's the one, I mean, he's a real thespian. He loves to dress up and do reenactments and be Pierce Chapman for when we did a wedding vow ceremony. He's very much of a naturalist, and doesn't he work for the Park Service?
He works for the school system.
Okay. And
he runs the Raptors program for them, and I don't know. I don't know if you saw the email. He emailed me this morning and said that I had emailed him on his professional school email, and he wanted me to use his personal email. You might take a look at that, because when we email him in the future, we may have to email his, huh?
Yeah, he doesn't respond to emails. Can you let me know what his is? Then I'll change it.
Yeah, he emailed me this morning.
Okay.
And hang on one second. It is Raptors, RAPTORS, RULEMC @gmail.com. You want me to repeat that?
Hold on. Raptors. And then what was the next?
It was Raptors, and then it's RULEMC
@gmail.
Yes.
Okay, that's different than I have, I believe. Let me just check.
Well, because we have his professional.
Yeah, I can see what I've got for him on my main list here. But anyway, so that's, you know, one. Whoops, I'm in the wrong place here. Documents. Just checking.
Where would I see his videos, Cheryl? Where would Kate and I see his videos?
On Facebook, on his Facebook page.
And it's just Mike Callahan?
Yeah,
on
just Facebook and take a look. He's done tons of them.
Okay. All right. So are you suggesting that he do it for us?
Well, I think that Word can't do this because the dialogue book. Hold on here. Cancel. All right, I got it. I was just checking to see if I had his. Okay, email. It's opening up now. So I have him for. Yeah, I have Raptors. I have Raptor. Yeah, I have Raptors. Well, actually, this is what he gave me. He has RaptorsRuleMC @gmail.com. Yeah, I've got the right one.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that my video wasn't up.
Yeah, that's okay. So I do have his right. RaptorsRuleMC.
All right. So and I see Jennifer is coming in. So okay. So I'm going to ask Michael to do this for us.
What do you think, Kate?
I was wondering if it might be. I don't have any issue, obviously. I think that'd be great, but I'm curious about what the theme is. Like, what is the intention? What are the points that we want to get across? Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer. I think it's to take Jennifer. We can't hear you. Put your mic on. We still can't hear you.
I do. Hi.
Hi, Jennifer.
I was calling everybody to find out. location we're on. But that's okay. I found you.
Okay, great.
Okay, good.
Um,
Glad you joined us. Okay,
have
so
you-
we're talking about the theme. Kate, repeat your question so Jennifer can add in her.
So we were talking about the theme for the live stream event that would also be recorded either on Twitter or Facebook Live. And we were talking about Mike being the guy potentially. And I was curious if it would be good to just start with what we want to get across, what the intention is for the recording. That's what we were getting
Have
right.
you seen this brochure, Connie?
Beautiful.
Okay, so basically what I think all we want to do in the event is have him virtually tell the story, go through the signage that's in the park, and basically just tell the story, even go inside the house.
Great, Rose.
Isn't it always that way? Murphy's Law, hard
Yeah,
work.
so repeat what you were saying, Cheryl, because my screen froze.
Okay, I think what we do is just tell the story of the keys to history of Mount Aventine, and that it would include inside Mount, and looking at like the stairs that go to the cupola, and things like that. All the stories, that's the Civil War story, the enslavement story. And then there's all the other park signs about how the evolving landscape, the tobacco farm, the horse farm, and all the other stories. So really he just has to be really familiar with this.
Right. And I think that someone, yeah, we'll have to walk him through it.
Yeah.
You think we need a script? We'll just use that pamphlet as a script.
Right, as an outline.
Does really well is he tells a very natural history. So just tell him to be very familiar with this, and I think he'll do a nice job. I mean, he'll add even other points that he knows. But just watch him on Facebook and see what he does. I've watched it several times, and I'm not that interested in a lot of the stuff he goes into, with nature and so forth. But he's really good. I watch him. I think he does a really good job in threading the story.
Okay.
Right.
So,
oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to
go.
say, if we use Facebook Live or Periscope on Twitter, we won't edit it because it would be a live stream event that would then get recorded. So if you're comfortable with that, then that's probably easier on the group because we wouldn't have to spend a lot of time editing. But if you're not comfortable with that, then we would have to come up with an alternate plan.
So let me understand this. So on Facebook and Twitter, that would be live. Michael would have a camera and walking around and doing things. I'm not comfortable with that. I think we're better off getting a film piece and then adding it to the website or the Facebook page, so that then it could transition over. We could transition it over to the schools also.
Well, the only thing, if you've got it on Facebook, you can always download it as an MP4 file and put it on our YouTube channel, and just put the YouTube link on our Facebook page or on our website.
Right.
Right.
Right. But how do you feel about doing it live? First of all, how do you do that live?
Well, he just to clarify, he wouldn't have to be the video person and the person talking. Accompany him or joke. We could both. So we could do the filming, and he could just be himself and do his thing.
And you
What's
kind of self-edit when you're in the field.
Correct.
So,
correct. Yeah. But like I said,
what does that mean? Self-edit in the field? I don't know what that means. Self-edit in the field.
Well, all right. So,
Is it topic or something wasn't emphasized? You could stop it and then do another take. and then when you're looking at it, you could cut and paste on what you want to actually happen. So
Well, you can't do that live though, can you?
No, but
You can't do that when you're live. The person it has to be a flow, don't you think?
I don't know.
well, when you post on Facebook, it's a video.
Right.
Oh, right.
So
Well,
it's
I'm
scripted.
asking the question about doing it live. That's what I'm asking. Having Michael or Kate and Joe, or us or me do a camera thing, and you can't edit that right in the middle of his talking, can you? I mean, that wouldn't work out, would it? Kate, where are you?
You can't edit it while he's executing other than to stop, make a suggested correction for him, and then restart. However, if it's going to be more scripted and we're just going to ask him to follow the signage and what's on the new pamphlet, I'm wondering, and I'm not hard pressed either way. We can record or we can do live. I'm not committed either way. I'm just saying it's an option. And the goal is that if you want to increase your social media audience, it might be a good way to try to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, the group has to really come to consensus on what we're trying to do. And if we don't do that now, if we can do that in the future by having more time to plan and that kind of thing. So it's whatever you think.
Good idea.
Yeah, I'm wondering what I'm not opposed to it either. I just don't want, if whichever way we do it, I want it to look professional. That's all. I want it to sound professional. And I want to have all our ducks in a row before we task on something doing this. My question is, what are the pros and cons, doing it live or doing it taped and posting it?
Well, I mean, the pros for going live would be you could have people actually providing real-time feedback, liking it, resharing it, having other people join in and watching it. So it's really to grow your external audience and who you're communicating to. And it's just something to think about, considering that there is some new messaging, particularly with the signage, and we're trying to do more to talk about the legacy of the impact of slavery. And so that's the advantage, is it's really a way to grow your external audience. If you put it on your website, the challenge is that I don't know how many followers or how many people actually look at the website. So you may be able to track that, but you just may get a broader external audience by doing it that way.
Kate, what about having our own YouTube channel for these things, and to get people to subscribe to our own YouTube channel?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you could do that and see if Michael would be willing to also post his videos there. That would be a way to grow the audience, because he's already got a following, right?
He does, yeah. And again, take a look at what he's already done.
Mm-hmm.
But
So you could do that. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jennifer.
No. When you do a live taping, you can also you change it into a video and YouTube and use it on your website.
Yeah.
So you can do both. But the thing is, again, like you were saying, what is the prime purpose and what do we really want to cover? Right. And so right now I hear it's the signage or the history of the house and the property. So I was also thinking, like, you can have people visit the website and then have a series of YouTubes on there, couldn't you?
Sure, you can upload them. Yeah.
One for the history of the park and the Chapmans, and then another one for the environmental studies that we provide for field trips in there, and then another one, for another aspect of events that have taken place, so people can click on what they really want to see.
So what you're suggesting is really developing.
And then also provide comments on, so I think both areas of live and also our website are both beneficial. And Sandy, I know you want to perfect it. I'm perfect at that, but to me, live means so much more because you're there and you're seeing the flaws and the oops and so on. So it's not so documentary, but it's oh, we just want to share what we have here, this treasure. So
and I would also add to Jennifer's comments and just say that just because you do the Facebook Live or the Twitter Periscope event doesn't mean you can't incorporate the footage later on and edit it in another format. So you could use iMovie on a Mac, for example.
Okay, you know what? Thank you. I was just going to say that. There's no reason why we don't do live and then capture that and then use it for other purposes.
Right.
Yeah, and that I think is great. All right, so are you comfortable with the theme? And do you want to do two separate ones? Do you want to do one for the outdoor and one for the inside? How do you want to? What's your thinking on that?
I think they should be one. Keys to history. We're telling a story of the entire. Oh, look at the kitty.
Yeah. Jennifer, yeah, I know you want to do eventually. We can divide them up eventually and edit them and everything.
Right. Or go into more detail, the way we would conduct a field trip for kids, of different aspects. That's why I was just going to say, if we had different links or different YouTubes, one of the history of the house and the history of the property, and then another one that, if you were in the park, these are other things in nature that you could see. So, people can pick and choose what they want, but Cheryl, maybe there's an initial virtual, YouTube that just quickly, goes through everything. And then we could separate stuff out later on.
Jennifer, I think the really good point that you raised is that, like, if you do one with what educational program that you do with the school kids, if you capture that, as its own YouTube video, that also serves as a PR event that can go out to other schools. We have outreach to other schools and say,
right,
if you would like to have your school come, this is what we do with kids, including the indoor activities.
Right. And even we could get Carrie to do a couple of art activities that she does in the house when the kids are there. So I'm looking at, Mike again, or even, what's her name? The ranger, going down to the river and doing some experiments and stuff like that.
That's so smart. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what do we have, Sandy?
Okay. Well, first we have to get a buy-in from Mike on this thing.
Right.
No, I already asked him if he would do it, and he said he would.
Okay. All right, I didn't know that.
Do it.
Okay.
And
all right, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Go, Jennifer.
Approached my son if he would be interested in doing the taping, unless you want to, because he has a media company. So,
wow.
Yeah, so.
Fantastic.
All right, we're liking that.
Okay. So all we need is a day and time.
Right.
Very good.
Well, I think we need to, Cheryl, you want to talk to Mike? You want me to talk to him? How do you want to proceed?
It's your committee.
All right, so I'm going to call Mike and talk to him about this. And then we need a date and a time. Kate?
I did.
Kate, are you still there?
Yes.
Hi. For some reason, I don't see you. But anyway, I mean, I see you now. But
I'm here.
I don't see everybody on the screen at one time.
Sure.
So are you thinking that I'm going to talk to Mike and get his buy-in on it. Jennifer, you want to talk to your son and get a buy-in with him
Yes,
and see? And then
yes,
we'll have to come up with a date that's convenient for everybody. And then how
Right.
do you see, Kate, what do you think our next steps ought to be?
Well, I think one, after we solidify the date and time, we should start thinking about how we want to get the information out. If we're going to do it live, then we want to definitely be able to put that out a couple of days ahead of time on social media and on the website so that
Okay.
people know to actually join in.
Okay.
So really, I think after we do the script, after we get the date and time, and Mike and Jennifer's son are on board, I think that's the important thing, is just having a couple of days in advance to have a message that goes out to just let everybody know that it's going to be happening.
yeah, and I think also, what is it, looking at the pamphlet, going through the pamphlet, getting Mike to think about what he wants to say on the pamphlet, and also strategically mapping out where you want to start, where you're going to go, so we're not using a lot of time fumbling over, those kind of things. So
Right.
again,
That's what we need somewhat of a script.
right, or an outline of what. But I think too, because Mike is so natural at doing some things, if we hand him an outline and we know, all of us know where we're going and what's, the next procedure of visiting certain areas in the park, then it'll go much smoother, and everybody will have practiced or whatever. He can also, I guess, tape his speech or his presentation ahead of time so we can, go over what he wants to say. Is that something that you would think about with him?
Yes.
Would it
But
be
it's not a red script, but, if we have an idea of where he's going with stuff, then we can also point out, don't forget to mention, and put it in the outline, because either we forgot to mention it or he's forgetting to mention it.
so, Jennifer? I think. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Kate.
Well, I was going to say, I think what I'm hearing you say is that it might be helpful to have Mike in advance kind of go through what he's going to say, what he wants to say,
Right.
and also, to Cheryl's point, have it mapped out in advance so that we're taking the most direct path to get to each different point. Does that sound about right?
Yes.
Right.
So I'm wondering if it might be worth scheduling a call with him and the group ahead of that, whatever that date is going to be.
Absolutely.
Are we
Oh, yeah.
thinking?
Absolutely. And I could meet with Mike personally to go over that with him. I envision that we start at the gates
Okay.
and then move through because each of the signs are right there. And as we go down the road,
Brochure.
And we use the brochure for the information. Yeah, but the brochure, does the brochure? Let's see. What
Are they at the gate? The brochures?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, the brochures are at the gate, and he can pinpoint that to start off with. I was just going to say that the brochure, we use the brochure, Cheryl, absolutely. The brochure, though, doesn't flow. If we were to use the brochure, actually, it would not be the walking through the park. We'd have to go to the gate and then down to the river and then over in the house. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, because it wouldn't be in chronological, historical
order.
sequence.
Right, order. So that's why, absolutely, we're going to use that brochure and information on it. We're going to refer to it. But I think it makes sense to start at the gate and then move through, capturing each of the signs and their purpose and meaning and value.
Well, you can kind
Is that
of do
okay?
you can kind of do it in chronological order, kind of, sort of, because if you leave the last two pieces, the tobacco barns and the horse farm at the end, those are the two, most recent, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
The horse farm being the latest, and then before that, the tobacco barns. So I think you could do that in terms of the progression of your trail.
And
Right.
even thinking about the Maryland State historical marker that's there, instead of going down to the water, you could even talk about what's in the brochure for the wharf area based on the Maryland State, the national sign. Do you know what I mean? The Maryland State Park.
Yeah.
I
Right.
don't know, historical marker there.
Right. But I would like to take it down to the cemetery. I would like to take it down to the river.
Yeah.
Because I think we need to capture that cemetery. That was a big part of what we did last year.
Yeah,
Sure.
definitely.
And
You can't get down to the river. I mean, the ferry boat is an important part of
Yeah.
the commercial fishery, and the ferry boat landing are important parts of history.
right, right. So all of it needs to be incorporated,
Right.
right?
Let me ask you this. Do we ever finalize, or do we have a finalized copy of the video for the visitor center?
I can give you.
No.
I did a script. I did a script for the video that I could send you.
Okay, because that, that piece too, either as a separate YouTube on the website, as an overall view, and or just interjecting some of that in the video that we put together after the the live streaming.
Well, why don't I just send all of you a copy of the video script? Now, this is
Okay.
just what I sent for the proposal. So realize that this is just a work in progress. But I'll send that to you. It does follow. It has a storyline to it.
Great.
Okay.
And I'm curious.
Jennifer, we just to add on to that, we were looking for a company, excuse me, a company to do this, because we don't think that grant is going to come through from the county, because they're so inundated
Okay.
with all the COVID-19 stuff. So I don't know, maybe your son would be interested in doing that for us. Just a point.
All right.
All right.
I'll to him.
Okay, Kate, what were you going to say?
I was just going to suggest that as we're thinking about the things that we need to do leading up to the event, we probably want to, Joe and I are happy to do this, we probably want to just walk through and do a cleanup. There's a lot of detritus that washes up along the wharf, the water line, so we can do that in advance of the filming.
But you know what? That might be also, if someone could videotape that, because that's part of the environment of the river.
Good
You
point.
know, to see how things wash up and why we need to clean it,
Yeah, okay.
and so on. Yeah, and a safety
And
aspect.
if we get good at this, I mean, there are lots of stuff that goes on there that we could videotape and put up, because every year, we do a trash cleanup down there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
DNR does it.
Mm-hmm.
And then every year on the, on January the 1st, every year, DNR has a walk. It's the first day walk. It's on January 1st every year, and we participate in that. And in past years, we've gotten quite a large group.
Nice.
So that's always a nice event.
Cool.
But that's when the house is open, and we have food and everything for the people that come.
There's also an archaeology component to this, and that is that a lot of things that wash up, you'll find shards. I think we call them sherds is the proper name, and also arrowheads, projectile points. It would be neat if we could actually get videos of some stuff that actually wash up, such as European, broken pieces of pottery and projectile points. Just thought.
Right. Yeah.
And then one thing for the script I was curious about, I can't remember if in the pamphlet it specifically talks about how the organization is separate from the state park, and so we are always encouraging people to donate. Is that something that we would want to add for Mike to?
Yes. It only gives our name here. It doesn't
Yeah,
have.
that's what I thought.
It doesn't have a pitch.
Do you want it to have a pitch?
Well, that could, that could be at the end that, this has been sponsored by the Friends of Chapman State Park, and we are a separate entity or an organization that's working collaboratively with DNR or, and we function solely by donations, or we rely on donations. So that could be an end kind of critic kind of thing going on.
I like it.
Hi.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good.
At least he has
All
pants
right,
on. Dressed to be
so our next step is
Say hello.
the very first thing I need to do is get Michael.
Everyone,
morning.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
nice to meet you too. Have fun. I'm not here.
Okay, so our very first next step is for me to talk to Michael.
Right.
Right.
And are we thinking September? Are we thinking October? What are we thinking?
I'm thinking what his schedule is, because
Okay.
he'll be going back to school, and I think that'll be virtual, and I don't know what part of that virtual component he will have, because he works for the school system.
Right.
Yeah.
Jennifer.
And so that might be Saturdays and Sundays. You know what I mean?
Yep.
He might
Yeah,
be
that's
free.
fine as long as we schedule it.
Right. And hold him in commitment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
Right.
He's an artist.
I know. Free spirit. But that's good. That's good because he appreciates that. He does. Because I worked with him on the Downton Abbey event thing, and I could tell he likes schedule. He likes, right, times and dates, and just keeping them informed. Yeah, like after.
Okay.
Up with.
Well, because we've committed a lot for him today without him being here.
Right.
So, we have a whole list. I really need to talk to him. So let me do that, and let me come up with a calendar for him, and then I'll have to get back to you and with those dates and everything. And since he said he's better off on a weekend, let's see how quickly we can turn this around. I don't think we'll need a proposal for this for DNR unless we're in. Carol, are you still there?
She said we do, because it's going to go.
Carol.
In the house.
Yeah, we do need a proposal for this.
It's quick, something quick. I think we should have everything kind of like in writing anyway, to hold people responsible for dates and times and commitments, and then just take that kind of schedule and just write up add it to the proposal, just plop it right in there.
Yeah, and once you have your date,
Go
once you
ahead.
have your once you have your dates and everything, remember that we've got to add that as to our tactic list in the strategic plan.
Right. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but what she said, what Elena said was, we've specifically brought up doing this virtual tour, and she said we would need a proposal because it would be broadcast on social media. So we definitely would, and it would have implications for the Park Service. So we definitely would need to have a proposal. So I would assume that you want to appoint someone to do that proposal and send it to Elena. I'm suggesting Elena checks our Google Drive. You can just actually put it in the proposals folder, and we can ask her to check it in the proposals folder when you're ready.
Do we have a proposal? I mean, I hate to be stupid about this, but I have no clue how to write this proposal.
I can
Is
send you
there-
an outline of what it should be.
Yeah, that would be great. Could send me an outline.
And
Okay.
I'm happy to help with that as well. So
Yeah, me
Okay.
too. I mean, you know.
Kate, why don't you do it then? I think that's better. It just needs to be, I was just going to make something up, but it should be the outline of a proposal that we could use again.
Right.
Name of project, when it's going to be held, details of project, principles involved, the broadcast reach, maybe broadcast or just reach and use the media or involve the following media. That's all. And
So do you have just a format in the folder?
no, there's not. That's why I'm saying Kate would just be developing one that could be used for this project and for the future ones.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So you're asking Kate to do that?
Thank you, Kate.
You're welcome. When would we like to have the draft of that?
Kate, what I'll do is as,
Kate?
I think now you can only view the folder, so I'll add you now as somebody who to share the files with, and I'll add you too, Jennifer.
Okay.
Okay.
Actually, all the board member, I've just been doing it as we've had need to. I just haven't bothered to share everything with everyone. Right now, the only people that's being shared with are Linda, Sandy, and myself, but we'll add the two of you, and it's Mount Aventine CSP is what the drive is.
Okay.
Gmail.com. You click on, you can get to the Google Drive from the Gmail account.
So it's Mount Aventine, all spelled out. CSP. Oh, you got it? At gmail.com.
And as soon as we end this, I'll go ahead and add you as
Okay.
share with.
When
And
would
while
you
we're
like?
talking about, go ahead, Kate.
Oh, go. No, you go ahead.
No, I was going to ask Jennifer a question. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was just going to say, when would you all want to see the draft? I can email you when there's something in the folder.
Whenever you get to it. I mean, right now I haven't even talked to Michael yet. I mean,
Okay, how about if I just start tinkering with it and then you come back and let us know, and then there's no pressure.
Right, because
Right.
the schedule could be just dropped in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, you can go ahead and put a suggested date, but remember, all of you have editing capabilities once it's on the Google Drive.
Right, okay.
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 No worries, no pressure, and hopefully he's bored. And if not, we'll come up with an alternate strategy.
Thank you, Kate.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Kate.
Yep.
Right,
Jennifer,
right up the street, so you can always just throw it over, fold it up like an airplane.
Send it down the street.
hey, Jennifer.
Yes.
I just want to ask you a question about your email. I have you down as Roscoe and Jennifer. That other email that you sent to me, did you get my email?
Yeah, for me, it's Chapman's at is mine all the time. For Roscoe, it's Chapman's at msn.com. So if he replied, he might have come through MSN.
No. When you replied to me
Yes.
yesterday,
Yeah.
It came out as UT was the
Oh,
person, and I don't know. I didn't know who that. I mean, I thought it was you, but I didn't know who it was. So that's
no.
why I said, do you have a new email?
Oh, no, I don't have a new email.
So yours is Chapman's. What? Say it again. At AOL.
No. Chapman's,
Yeah.
LDG
L.
at
Say it.
AOL.
I'm
L as
sorry.
in Larry, L as in Larry, D as in David, G as in George, AOL.com. Right, you got it.
I just put it on the whiteboard. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
LDG. 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 Okay. Thanks.
Oh, you're welcome. But I get
All
all
right.
your
So.
Okay.
Okay, Cheryl, can we go back? Okay. So, all right. So I think we have sort of a plan here in place. The very first thing I need to do is talk to Michael. Kate, you're going to come up with a draft for a proposal. Jennifer, what are you going to do?
What am I going to do? I'm going to make contact with my friend to make sure that he's on board for the taping. Okay, and that he's willing to do that. And I'm going to get a pamphlet.
Who are you going to do? Wait a minute. Who are you going to talk to?
Christopher, my son.
Christopher. Okay.
He's on board, okay, and Cheryl is going to send us the video dialogue that she's put together, or script, and I'm going to see what else we can add on to that. And then also I wanted to go through the pamphlet to possibly put in order how we should walk through the park for the videotaping. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to do that also.
Okay, and also where on the parts of the videotaping we could branch out and use it for field trips. Add on.
Okay.
Okay, that it doesn't have to be in the live streaming or that particular one, that we, add field trip information, but we can also maybe get Mike to interject, if you want to know further activities to do in this section of the park, we have something else. You can link on or view our YouTube section on this. Okay.
Okay. All right. Are we good with the plan?
Yeah. Okay. Now I have to write this down. Okay.
Get to it.
Okay.
Jennifer, Cheryl. Hey, Cheryl.
Yeah.
Do
Yes.
you have anything else you want to add? We
No.
have our marching orders.
Sounds-
All right. Look, thank you so much for coming in. If you please, feel free to call me at any time. You've got my phone number. It's 301-518-2434. Sometimes it's better to just get on the phone and call me and talk it through and then go from there, rather than this emailing back and forth and all that stuff.
Do you do text?
That is my cell phone number. It's the only phone I own.
Okay, do you do text?
I'm sorry, Cheryl, what'd you say?
You text?
I cannot hear you.
Do you text?
Oh, yes, I text, but I prefer, rather than 45 texts,
Okay.
I prefer just call me and talk to me rather than going back and forth with all this stuff.
Okay.
When we get to the point where there's, 25 threads in a conversation, it's time to just talk to somebody on the phone, okay?
Agreed.
That's my feeling. Okay. All right, you guys, have a great day. Thank you.
You too.
And I'll let you know as soon as I talk to Michael. I will call him today.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you,
Bye.
ladies. Okay. Keep in
Bye-bye.
touch.
Okay. Bye.